Hi! Today I'm going to be teaching you how to make a Pac-Man charm bracelet.
Introducing Blinky, Pinky, Inky, and Clyde.
Don't forget our hero, Mr. Pac-Man.
And our heroine, who looks like she's in trouble, Mrs. Pac-Man.
In search of that infamous Pac-Ball.
Totally cute. Totally fun to wear. Your friends will say, oh my gosh, where did you get that cute 80s bracelet? And you get to say, I didn't buy it anywhere. I made it.
You're going to need a few different colors of polymer clay today. You'll need
red for Blinky, pink for Pinky, blue for Inky, orange for Clyde, yellow for Mr. and Mrs. Pac-Man,
white for the whites of the eyes on the Pac-Ball, and some black for the pupils. You're going to need some various hardware tools to complete the project today. You'll need a pasta roller, some wire tools, quick drying glue, a needle tool, a flexible polymer clay razor blade, chain for charm bracelet. This is 24 gauge wire that I use to make the findings for the really thin pieces of polymer clay. You'll need other findings to attach the polymer clay charms to the charm bracelet, a lobster clasp, and some cookie cutters will help you out, but they're not necessary. They just make cutting shapes easier. Okay, today we're going to get started by rolling out some colors using our pasta roller. Pasta rollers have different settings right here on the handle to change how thick you want the polymer clay to be rolled out. So today we're going to be working with the thickest thickness, and on my pasta roller that's 7. I suggest starting with your lightest color and then working up progressively to your darkest color, because when you're working with polymer clay, it tends to get stuck in your fingers a little bit, and then that color will definitely transfer onto your other colors. That way you avoid color mixture. Okay, so you need a little piece of polymer clay in yellow. This is going to become Mr. and Mrs. Pac-Man. You need to condition the clay before it's rollable. Okay, now that my clay is conditioned or kneaded to a pliable texture, it's ready to run through the roller. And now it will come out all the same thickness. I'm just going to fold that over because I'm going to actually make my Pac-Mans double the thickness of the 7. I'm going to set that to the side. So now I'm going to do the same thing with each of my remaining colors. The white color that you're going to use for your eyes, you're not going to double that over. You don't need it super thick. This is actually glow in the dark. It looks like white in the daylight, but then at night it glows. I'm actually making this bracelet as a special order that I got through a request. So I hope that she likes it. I'm going to make it with glow in the dark instead of white. That way when she wears her bracelet at night, the eyes of the ghost and also the Pac-Ball will glow in the dark. Now that I have all my colors rolled out to my desired thickness, I'm ready to start constructing. So I'm going to begin with Mr. and Mrs. Pac-Man, our hero and heroine. If you have a cookie cutter, this makes your job so much easier. So I'm going to go ahead and use my cookie cutter shape. There's the beginnings of Mr. Pac-Man. There's the beginnings of Mrs. Pac-Man. Now I'm ready to cut out Clyde, the ghost. Here's where having a cookie cutter will help a lot. This is actually an acorn cookie cutter, and I kind of pulled the sides out a little bit more, and I'm going to turn it upside down. This is going to make the basic ghost shape for me. I'm going to be keeping this section, and I'm going to be cutting off the end so it makes a ghost shape. There's the beginning of Clyde. We're going to be getting rid of these edges. Here's the beginning of our Pac family. Next I'm going to make the eyes. I'm lucky I have this super tiny circle cookie cutter. These can be quite a challenge to get out of a tiny cookie cutter like this without damaging the shape of the clay. So what I actually do is I put this edge in my mouth and just blow, and the force of my breath pushes the clay out the other end, and I just keep my hand there to catch it. And I'm also going to just go ahead and make the Pac-Ball now. Good enough. Looks like a Pac-Ball to me. Now's the fun part. We're going to make pupils. The size of the clay that's going to go inside each one of these little white circles is so tiny. You see how small that is? That's the size I'm talking about. And I'm just going to use the back end of my needle tool to push that flat. Okay, now it's time to reshape the ghost, and I do that with a razor blade. I'm just going to take my straight edge and cut straight down to get rid of that strange acorn shape.
Now for Mr. and Mrs. Pacman.
And now we're going to make the bow for Mrs. Pacman's head. So I took some of the extra red from Blinky. Now I'm going to put the detail on the bow by using my needle tool. And I'm going to use my needle tool again to just press it in to hold everything together. And there we have Mrs. Pacman with her bow. I put the eyes on the ghosts now. Now I need to make the findings so that I can attach them to the charm bracelet. Okay, I'm going to use my 20 gauge wire. It's really easy to make these findings. You just take the wire, bend it over, and snip. Okay, now you insert them into the polymer before you bake. Press the ball into the pin, slide it all the way down. The actual eye of it you're not going to make until after you bake so as not to damage any part of your polymer clay project. So it's going to actually get baked with this whole long stick inside. Okay, everything is in a bakeware dish ready to go into the oven. The characters are going to be baked for approximately 20 minutes at about 275 degrees. While I'm waiting for everything to bake, I'm going to go ahead and get started on making the charm bracelet portion. I'm closing up this last link really tight so that the jump ring that I'm putting on won't fall through. These are jump rings. I bought them on eBay. I got a really good deal. I got a package of like 5,000 for a few dollars. They look like this. You can make your own out of wire, but if you don't want to sit there and make hundreds and hundreds of little jump rings, then you can buy them in a bag like I did. Okay, to attach everything, I take a jump ring, use my pliers to open it, thread on your piece, and then attach it to your chain. Then to close it, this is where having these nice gripping kind of wire tools come in handy. You just take your jump ring and pinch it closed. Okay, now that the pieces are baked and out of the oven, I can cut the wire and then form this part into a loop that will not come off. Use your pliers to open the jump ring. Attach a character to the jump ring and then attach the jump ring to the bracelet. Close the jump ring and there you have your first character. Repeat that process with each of the characters. I like to put a 3 chain space between each one to give them room to hang. And since it's a custom order, they get a special tag signed, and this just gets attached to the clasp piece. Don't forget to use super glue just to make sure that each piece won't come off. There's no risk of this piece falling off, but you're going to want to use just a dot of super glue right where you put each finding in to the polymer, and that will help hold everything in. Ta-da! Now this piece is finished and ready to ship out. I hope that whoever's the recipient enjoys wearing it just as much as I enjoyed making it. And if you want to make your own, now you know how, and I hope you watch my next tutorial. Thank you! So if you'd like to order one, or if you'd like me to make you a different custom piece, just let me know. You can email me at this email, jcisneros@dc.rr.com, and I'll be sure to reply to any email you send me at that email address. Thanks for watching. Bye.